Welcome back. I'm Francine Lacqua, reporting live from Scotland. I'm in St Andrews today, where the G20 finance ministers and central bankers are meeting. Now, people tend to come here for two reasons normally: to play golf or to go to the same university as Prince William. But this weekend's G20 finance ministers are converging on the coastal town for the latest summit. Now, I'm pleased to say that one of them, Sweden's Anders Borg, joins me now. Sir, thank you so much for joining us. Now, there has been a lot of talk about, of course, bonuses. You were one of the big advocates that they had to be curtailed. Now the concern is that actually there are asset bubbles which aren't regulated across the world. Are you concerned?
Well, I think we should be concerned in the medium-term perspective. In the short-term perspective, I think we must send a very clear message that we will sustain the expansionary policy as long as necessary. The world has landed on its feet, but it's far from a self-sustained recovery. So I think the main message out of this meeting is that we will do whatever is necessary to have a sustained recovery.
We have heard concerns on the market that if the governments continue with the stimulus and leave it on for too long, it will then force central banks to raise rates before they're ready.
Well, I disagree. We have no inflationary pressure and unemployment is rising. So we need to keep the expansionary policy until we've curtailed unemployment. There's no room for complacency. We need to keep expansionary policies going until we have a self-sustained recovery. And we're quite far away from that currently.
Minister, we've had a couple of G20s, more than a couple. Are you more comfortable today than you were at the last one and the one before because of all the action that was taken?
Most definitely. I think we've made substantial headways in terms of coming out of the crisis. We've made progress on bonuses. We are not returning to the old culture. And if we will see that recovering in January and February, we will have a new round of regulations. I think we should be quite clear about that the market should be aware that the politicians have a very, very strong commitment. So if we would see a going back to the old business routines, we will see new regulation round in the spring.
Can we talk about the beginning of a worldwide recovery?
Yeah, I do think we are in the beginning of a worldwide recovery. We clearly get data that are indicating that the world has landed on its feet, that the nightmare scenarios has not come true. But that doesn't mean that we can lean back. This is not a self-sustained recovery. We need expansionary policies going for a substantial time period.
And asset bubbles, I mean, how do you treat those? Are there any that you can see in sight?
Well, the main mistake that we could do at this juncture is to start to exit the expansionary policies, the sign to error on is to be ready to do more rather than less. And yes, we might see problems with this too strong recovery eventually, but that is 1 or 2 years ahead of us.
So it's actually quite difficult to pin down newsmakers such as yourself on when exactly we need to start pulling out this money that we've pumped into the economy. 3-4 months after employment numbers get better across Europe, I mean, what is the exact time where you feel confident that we will be ready to pull it out?
Well, I think we need to see the very highly pumped up liquidity to come back first. Then we need to see clear exit strategies on fiscal policy. Eventually, we need to see the different guarantee schemes and broad support for the banking system being dismantled. But that's the last stage. The first stage is liquidity. The second is fiscal policy. And given that in most countries we see very clear fiscal problems, that is a key issue.
Do we need a key debate on currencies? I mean, it does seem that all the pressure that some countries put on China so far isn't working.
Well, there are imbalances. Europe is not contributing very much. We have a quite stable situation, but there are imbalances between the US and China that has to be dealt with.
Mr. Borg, thank you so much. That was Sweden's finance minister. Sweden, of course, also holding the rotating presidency of the European Union.